All right, welcome back everybody. Today is the day you're going to learn how to play I Want to Tell You by the Beatles, by George Harrison, and also part of the fantastic Revolver album. And as you know, the Beatles just released the Revolver Super Deluxe set, and so much great material on there. This is by far my favorite Beatles album, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of songs the next several weeks around these, so watch for those. So hey, if you haven't done so already, jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell, let you know every time I release new content, which I do every single week. All my videos have jump links in them, so you can zip right to the part of the lesson that you want to see at any time. And if you're looking for ways to support the channel, I appreciate it. All the links are down in the description, and I appreciate you checking those out. All right, this is one of 3 songs that George Harrison got on the Revolver album. And obviously he's really growing as a songwriter at this point, and this is such a fantastic, cool song. This is going to be a quick lesson, but I think there's some important parts on here that I wanted to highlight. All right, so the first thing is the riff that opens the song, right? So this is on a Strat, 100% on a Strat. And for me to get the tone right, I'm actually in position 4 with these 2 pickups on. I've got my tone and volume maxed, and any sort of clean amp will do. Now the Beatles were using during this period some Vox amp 7000 series amps that had solid state preamp section and a tube power amp, and there's a pedal maker recently that actually created a pedal to emulate that exact amp. And the sonic characteristic that has, and it's called a Dr. Robert pedal. So I'm going to be using that for this to help the sort of mid-range and get that tone that I think maybe George used on here. But actually this sounds good on any sort of clean amp platform. This is a really fun song. And I think the most important thing to get on here is the sort of pickup selection if you want to sound like he did on the record. And for me, it's number 4. And I'm picking pretty aggressively, not on the bridge, not all the way down there, but a little bit towards the back. I'm not picking over the front here. I'm sort of back here to get a little more punch to the note. So the opening goes like this. Right? So there's some pull-offs going on there. So slowly. Right? This is all between the 5th string, 4th string, and the 3rd string. And then we're going to come up here on your D string to your G note. Again, keep that droning A. And we're going to pull off. We're going to pull that note off on the D string. Come down a fret. To the end of that goes. Right? We'll zoom in on my picking hand to see with a picking pattern that I've got. The riff seems to work no matter sort of what finger I'm using up here. I sometimes will use my index finger all the way, which is sort of a lot of work. One should be doing with your ring finger or something like that. But it's moving slow enough that you can get there, right? Okay, now the chords during the verses are just A. On the record, the song is dominated by piano. So the actual, if there's, if he's playing his Strat and playing chords and with the actual playing pattern that he has on there, it's not obvious and it's not apparent. And even on the Super Deluxe set, it doesn't have sort of an isolated guitar version of that song. So anything will do in terms of strumming as long as you're just keeping the beat. It is filled with B. Okay, this is the important chord, okay? Now, when you think about it, the song is about tension. The song is about, I want to tell you, my head is filled with things to say, but when you're near, all those words seem to slip away, okay? So he's trying to tell, he's trying to voice, but he can't. So the genius part is that there's a chord on here that is dissonant, where you can tell where he wants to go, but he can't quite, and it's sort of messed up, right? It's an E chord, it's an E7 chord if you want to play it the easy way, okay? But that's not quite right. But it'll still sound fine if you play an E7. But it's not going to sound like the record. If you want it to sound like the record, you're going to take that E7 and you're going to add a sharp or a flat 2, I think it is. So if you remember, you know this E7. You're going to take that root note and you're going to slide it up to an F. Because what you want to get is this alternating F to E sound. Or, right? Which is annoying, but when you put in the context of an E7 chord, if you put in the rest of that E7 with that, it sounds like this. So that's the important chord that you want to get on here, and I think this is the best voicing to get that. Because you can go down and get that one, and then you can come up and get this. Now the piano's doing that on the record. But I think this is the best approximation on how to reproduce that on a guitar. All those words they sing. Right? Okay, so one time through on the verses again. I want to tell you, my head is filled with things to say. All those words. Riff. When I get, and then again, right? So the next section, I'm just going to call it a B section. I don't know technically what this is, but it's the part where he goes, sometimes I wish I knew you well, right? So that starts in a B, and we're going to do B. Sometimes I, B minor, wish I knew you well, A. And I can B minor. Now our special chord. Maybe you'd understand. Forgive my singing, I'm not doing it right, but those are the chords, right? So that's really it. So again, your riff. And if you really want to sound like the record and you have a volume pedal, you do this. And then you kick in. But again, I think the most important part of this song that will stand out is to really get that chord. And that is the voicing of the chord. And the voicing of the chord is that. So, that is I Want to Tell You. Did you learn anything new today? I hope you did. If you haven't done so already, please jump down, click subscribe, ring the bell, let you know when I put out new content, which I do every single week. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on. And until next week, take care, everybody.